Do you remember the story of the rich young ruler? He was following the Ten Commandments, but when it came to the next level of spiritual maturity, to be a disciple of Jesus Christ, following the Ten Commandments was not enough. Jesus said, "Sell everything and come follow me." But he refused to pay the price, and he went away sad. That's what the Bible says. But Jesus was looking at him and he loved him. So, just because we sometimes refuse to follow certain instructions of the Lord doesn't necessarily mean that Jesus stops loving us. It's just that we will not be living the optimum life that He intends us to live. He chose to be at a certain spiritual level that was comfortable for Him. He decided He didn't want to mature into everything that the Lord wanted him to mature into. And that's a personal choice. And we cannot judge other people for making choices for themselves, because at the end of the day, your life is a creation of your own decisions. Some of the decisions you might make because it makes you feel more comfortable, and some of the decisions you may make because you want to obey the Lord, and each to his own, her own, his own. But at the end of the day, you have to bear the consequences of the decisions you make, whether they are good or they are bad, and you have to be answerable to God. So your life is also a creation of your own decisions, and you have to understand that you're the one that's going to live with those decisions, not anybody else, because in the end of the day, you are making decisions that will impact your life. Yes, it will have impact on other things as well, but you know so if there's anything I could say on this regard, I would say, have a clear conscience before God and even before man, so that you be the kind of, you have the boldness that you want to have. You live the life that the Lord wants you to live. It's not about then you don't have to point a finger at this person and that person and say, oh, I made this decision based on this person's input or that person's input. When it comes to me, before I make a decision, I inquire of the Lord. And if you know and I follow the path of peace, because for me that's the best way forward. I don't make a decision because everybody else says do it, or everybody else says, oh, this is acceptable. No, because in the end of the day, I have to be honest before God. I have to be transparent before God. I have to be accountable before God, because He is the one who is entrusting me. He's the one who's trusting me. So a million different people can say a million different things, but in the end of the day, I have to be in the right standing with God. I have to be correct before God. I have to be accountable to God. I have to be acceptable to Him.